Hello and welcome back everyone to your channel Learn Code Practical. My name is Khaled and today we starting our web development path with the command line interface lesson. So let's get started. What is command line interface? Command line interface is a program on your computer that allows you to create and delete files, run programs and navigate through the folders and the files. By that, it might remind you, by those words or this definition, it might remind you by another program that you always use on your computer or machine, which is, if you are using Windows, it's called File Explorer, or if you're using Mac OS, it's called Finder. So if I show you one of my, let's say the File Explorer here, this is my File Explorer, let's say here is my desktop. And if I go to my desktop in my File Explorer, it will show me all the folders and the files I have, but also it allows me to navigate through those files and folders. Also, it allows me to create anything I want. Let's say I'm creating a new text file and I will call it, let's say, notes. So the interface is so much similar to the functionality of the File Explorer. Of course, the command line interface has more functionality than that, but we're going to focus on our need for the web development for now as beginners. If you are on a Windows machine, you need to download the terminal, let's say, or the command line. So to download the command line on your Windows machine, just go on your browser, favorite one, and just type git bash download, and you should be able to see this link, which is gitscm.com. It should be something like that. Just to choose your operating system, or right away download it from here, and you will be good to go. After download it, just install it, next, and that's it. You don't need to do more. After you download the git bash on your machine, or open the terminal on your Linux or Mac OS system, let's explore it and learn how to use it as web developer. If you open your command line or terminal, you will notice there is a line. Every time you open your command line, you will have a line, and it has some information. So the first, at the beginning of the line, it's telling you what is the name of your machine, or what is the username as well. But what is important for us, the last section, and where it will show you the location of the terminal. It's called location. Some people call it locations. Some people call it working directories, and other people call it path. At the end, the terminal telling you where it is open at. So if I go to my desktop, let me minimize this web browser. Let me close this Explorer here. After downloading the git bash, if I click the right click menu, if I have Windows 11, I should go to show more options, and I will find, or I will see the option here called git bash here. That means open the git bash in my desktop here in this location. If you don't see this command on your Windows 10 or Windows 11, you might need to restart your machine after downloading the git bash. If I now start or try to open git bash here, it will open the terminal. To open on the second screen, here we are. It opened this git bash here, and it's telling me I am opened in desktop location. This is the desktop, and this is my desktop, and this is the location. It's telling me where it's located at. So some people might be confused with this, the location or the directory or the path, but let me explain it a little bit more. Let's say I have more folders on my desktop, like here. I have something called 01, I have something folder called empty folder. If I want to open the git bash here, I just simply right click on this folder, and I choose git bash here. That means I want to open my git bash, or the terminal or the command line inside empty folder. Whenever I click it, sorry, it's open a different screen. Here we are. It's open for me and it's telling me, it's pointing at its location. It's pointing at the path this command line is existing. So it is an empty folder, which is located in desktop, which is belong to this machine. Cool. So after we know what is the first line means, let's get started with the commands we're going to use. Here we are. The first command line is we're going to start with. It's called pwd. Pwd stands for print working directory. It displays the path from the root directory to the current working directory. So it's telling you what is the path from the root, from the root of your computer till the location your terminal is located at. Let's see it in action to see what that means. Here I am. Let's say I am in the desktop, and if I click pwd, click enter, it will tell me now I'm located in desktop, which is belong to the user PC, which is coming from users, and which is located in the C. If I go here, I know the empty folder is a folder located in the desktop. So let's try out and click pwd and see what we have. It's telling me what is the path from the root, from the start of my, let's say, the location, the memory or the location of my PC till where my terminal is pointing at. And in this case, this is the path. Okay, C users, PC user desktop empty folder. Cool. So now we know what is pwd is do. It print for us the working directory or the path from the root to the working directory that we are located at. So the second command we're going to cover is called macdir. Macdir stands for make directory. What is directory? As we said here, directory is this guy. It's a path, it's a folder. The directory is a folder. So macdir create a folder. So if I write macdir, I need to give a name for this folder in order to be created. So what macdir does, create a new directory, means folder, in the current working directory. What is the current working directory? This is the current working directory where our command line pointing at, or where it's located. So now if I go back to my command line, let's start with the empty folder. Let me close this guy. I will open my empty folder for you, and as you can see, here it is. My empty folder has nothing inside it, and here I am pointing at empty folder. So in my terminal, if I say now macdir, sorry, so make directory, and I give it a name. Let's say I want to create a folder or directory called, let's say, user. If I want to click enter now, it will create a folder called user in this working directory, is in the current directory of the command line. So let's try it and see what will happen. If I click OK, notice user folder being automatically created. Not automatically, of course, I clicked enter for it, but still it's being created for me. Let's test something else. I want to create a folder now called car. So I will say macdir car. What will happen? You will see there is a car folder being created. If I want to create more than one folder, I can go ahead and write all the names I want to have as folders. Macdir, let's say user 1, user 2. I said it earlier, but anyway, I will ask you, what do you think will happen if I write this command now? Macdir user 1, user 2. Will it create one folder called user 1, user 2, or will it create two folders, one called user1 and one called user2. Let's discover. Here we are. If I click enter, it will create two folders for me, which are user1 and user2. But what if I want now to create a folder by my name? Let's say I will say macdir, and I will write my name, let's say this way. Will it create one or two folders? I want one folder to have all my full name, let's say. If I click OK, it's not going to work as I wished before. It's going to give me my family name separated in one folder and my first name in another folder. This is not gonna work for me. I want a folder carry my full name, let's say. So I need to contain any name has a space with the quotes. Quotes is simple that we can use double quotes. It's a simple used to surround names that include or contain spaces. Let's try it out. If I say now quote, double quote, and my name, let's say, now it will create a folder for me with this name, which is containing space, Khaled Al Absi. Here we are, and you will see I have a folder called Khaled Al Absi. So now we learned two commands. The first one, print working directory, and the second one, macdir, pwd and macdir, make directory. Cool. So let's see what is the third command we can use for the command line. It's called ls, which stands for list. List the content of the current working directory. So if I take you back there here, and I ask you, if I click ls, what we will do, it will list the content of the working directory. So I will ask you here, what is the current, or what is the working directory of my command line? You will read it here. It is the empty folder which belongs to the desktop. Oh, it's this. So if I open it, which is here, this is its content, right? This is the content of the empty, you can see it here, I think. Yeah, the content of the empty folder. Cool. If I say ls, it will list this content. Here we are, and notice it lists all the content of this empty folder. It's called empty folder. Of course, it might be confusing, but it's called empty folder here. And it has this folder, this folder, this folder, blah, blah, blah. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, why 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, 7 folders. Yeah, here we are. Perfect. Let's try to have a file. Will it list it for us here? Let me try to list it here first. I want to create a text file, and I will call it note again here. And let's try to see if it will list it for us. ls. And yes, here we are. This is folder, this is folder. Notice this is file. And it lists for you what is the format. .text, that means it's a text file. Cool. So this is what ls command do. It lists files for us. So this was the third command we learned so far. Cool. So now let's move to the fourth command we have on our slides for today, and it is cd command, which stands for change directory. cd stands for change directory, and it's move us from the directory we are located in the given directory we give to the command cd. I will show it to you. Let me show it to you in practice. Here we are, and as you can see, we are, and our command line is located, or the working directory of our command line is empty folder, which contain all of those. If I say here cd and give any name this working directory have as a folder, it will take me right into that folder. So let's say, you know what, I want to go into the car folder here. I want my command line to point at that one, to have it as its working directory. So I just need to say cd and the name of the folder. So if I say cd car as it is and I click enter, notice what will happen. Now our working directory is not empty folder anymore. It is car, which is inside empty folder. Yeah. And let's say I want to list the items inside car. Let's see what do we have in car. ls, and click here, nothing. That means car folder is empty. And if I open it, as you can see, car folder is empty. I would say I would like to have in car folder a folder called, let's say, Audi, stands for any brand car, right? So I will come here. I have two ways to create it. Think of the two ways now, you know. One of them, creating manually a folder like the traditional way any normal user can use. And the other way, which is programmers and developers use, which is the command line. We're going to see both in action. So this is car. I will create here a folder, let's say, called Audi or Saudi, the same. Audi. What happened? Okay, so now we have Audi. If I come here to my command line and I want to see if it exists, what kind of command do I need to write? Think of one that lists the content of the working directory. And I think it is ls, which is list. And now I can see there is Audi folder in it. If I go here, if I tell you now, I want you to create another, let's say, car brand folder. In this car folder, and let's name it, I can't think of something, Honda, right? I want to have Honda, but using the command line or the terminal. What I can do to make a directory, mk make dir, right? And I give the folder a name. So I'm going to call it Honda. And if I click OK, now you will see I have Honda here. If I list it, see what kind of content this working directory has, it will tell me I have Audi and Honda. So now let's say I am in car, but I want to go back from car to empty folder. What can I do? If I say cd empty, let's say empty folder, it will not work. No such a file or directory inside car directory. If you want to go one step back, you need to use two dot. Two dot means one directory back, or one step, one folder back. Since our car folder is inside empty folder, so if I want to go from car folder one step back, that means I'm going to be located one step back in empty folder. So I will do as follows: cd two dots. And if I click enter, it will take me back. You notice now I'm not in car anymore, I'm in empty folder. I cannot give a name for the back step for the folder that I am located in. I can just give one step back and it will take me back. But let's say I want to move from empty folder now to the desktop folder. What can I do? Same, I'm just going one step back. So cd dot dot, that should take me from empty folder to desktop. Let's figure it out. And here we are. Now we are in desktop. If I want to go back to empty folder, what should I do? cd empty, yeah, folder. What will happen now? This name has a space, right? This name has a space, too many arguments. cd is a change directory. It can take you to one directory. It cannot take you to two different directories at the same time. And whenever you give a name with a space, you need to use quotes. Otherwise, it will think this is two arguments or two folders, two separate folders. Let's say cd empty, empty folder, and close it. And if I click enter, now I get back to empty folder. But also there is shortcut for that. If I want now from empty folder, I know there is a folder called car. Do you remember? Instead of saying just cd and try to say car, type it myself manually, I can start with C and click tab on the keyboard. If there is a file that matches what I'm starting with, it will just finish it for me. So here we are. I just click tab and it's finished car for me. If I click enter, I will be in car again. But let's say I am in car directory and I want to move from car to desktop right away. What can I do? Simply I can say cd dot dot, which is one step back, slash dot dot. So what means I want not to go back one step, I want to go 2 steps back. So if I click OK now, you notice I skipped empty folder. I jumped right away from car to desktop. So what will happen if I am in desktop but I want to jump right away to car? Let's say cd, and if I click car, it will. I'm clicking tab. It's not finished it for me. No, this is all the C's I have in my desktop. So let's cancel it. cd. Let's say car. It will not move anywhere because I don't have a car folder in my desktop. I have it in my empty folder. So let's do it this way. How? cd. First we say empty folder, and after I click tab, it will finish it for me. This is backslash. Character simple, and it just ignore the space behind. Later we're going to cover it. You don't need to think about it now, but anyway, whenever I say cd and name the folder I want, and then I can simply also name the folder I want to visit or be in inside the empty folder. In my case, it's car. So if I click OK now, it will take me directly from car to empty folder. Let's go to car again. Sorry, let's go to empty folder again, and you will notice there is not only car, there is other folders. Let's say I am in car now, but I want to move from car to, let's say, user 1. Okay, what can I do? I need to go one step back to empty folder and then move back to user 1. I'm highlighting user 2, but I want user 1. Okay, what can we do? cd dot dot, which is take me to empty folder, and after that inside empty folder I want to visit user 1. So if I click use or us and click enter, it will just complete what is matches the first matching folder. After that, I need to complete it myself. So I will click 1. So now I'm getting back one step, which is empty folder, and then I will be pointing at user 1. If I click enter, you will see from car, I move to empty folder and jump back to user 1. In my case now, I am in user. If I just typed cd, it will take me right away to the root directory. Notice what will happen. Notice where am I now? Now I am in the root of my PC. Now I'm not in desktop, I'm not in empty. I jumped right away to the 0 destination, to the start destination, which is root. Why? Because I said change directory without giving destination or work or directory. So I always need to specify where I want to go with cd, otherwise it will throw me back to the root directory. Let's move on and learn or check what is the file system structure. The file system structure in our machines or computers are somehow represented in a tree-like structure. Like you create a folder, and this folder might contain many other folders and files. So it's a kind of, they call it tree-like one folder has many branches, like a tree, and has many branches, and each branch might have also other branches. You create a folder, like in our case we have a folder called empty folder. This folder having another folder called car might have other folders or other files. So it's somehow a tree-like system, and here I visualize it a representation of what is a file system looks like on in the computers. So let's say here the three dots pointing at my desktop. In my desktop I have a folder called blog, and from a blog, this is a folder, I have other folders and files. So in my blog I have 2 folders and 1 file. In my 2015 folder I have also 2 folders and 1 file. In my Feb folder I have only 3 files, I don't have any folders. In my Jan folder I have 1 folder and 1 file. In 2014 I have 1 folder which has 2 files. So if you look at this structure, which is a tree-like structure, this is how it's represented in our PCs, usually in File Explorer or Finder. So it is somehow we have a folder, it has a branch, 2-3 branches, and each branch might have other branches or folders and files. So the 5th command we're going to learn today is called touch. Touch creates a new file for us in the current directory or in the working directory of the command line. Of course, touch take the file name with it, because it needs to create a file. This file need to have a name for it. So let's see how it's worked. Now I am in my empty folder, and as you can see, this is my empty folder, right? I want to create a file in this empty folder, and I can say touch. This will create a file, but this file needs a name. I will say I'm going to create it called phone, okay? And I want this file because since a file, it can have an extension. What kind of file I want? I will choose text file. So phone the text txt, and as you see, I created a file called phone, and just so normal simple text file. That's it. So this is what touch does for us. Let's go back. We have something called echo. Echo take also value, which is in double or single quotes, and after that with the simple called greater than simple and the name of the file. So what echo does, it plays the output from the command line on the left side, which is this, into the given file on the right side. So echo take everything you put here and put it in the file, you name it here or you point at it here. So if I go back here, let's try it out. I have the phone I just created. So if I say here echo, and if I say here learning CLI, which stands for command line interface, and I want this value, that's I am learning CLI, this is the value, I want it to go into something called phone.txt. This is the file I want to have this value in. So now before I click enter, if I show you what phone has, you can see it has nothing. So let's close it. Yeah, let's close it. And if I click enter now, this value should be moved into phone.txt. Let's click here again, and here we are. Ba-la-la-la. Great. So let's say I changed my mind. Now I want to see I want to write a mastering CLI. So let's try it out together. Echo and whatever we want to surround our value with the double quotes. Mastering CLI. Where to go? It need to go to phone.txt. Click tab if you are lazy like me to finish the file for name for you. And here we are. If I open phone, will it be? This is a good question. Will it add a mastering CLI? Will it replace it, or we will just see the old value, which is I'm learning CLI? take few seconds to answer, but here we are. It's just replace it. It just replace the new value by whatever was there. So if I want now to say echo hello from command line, and I will give a name of a file that it does not exist. Notice I have two files here, note and phone. I will go to say blah blah.txt. Is it exist? It's not exist. Let's see what happened. Maybe it will give me an error. Maybe it will just do nothing. Maybe it will complain, or maybe it will do something. And here we are. Notice what happened. Since echo didn't find existing file with the given name, it just create the name right away. So it somehow take also the functionality of touch command, the one before. Says right away, okay, put this value, which is hello from command line, into file called blah blah.txt. If I don't find it, I will just create it and have this value inside it. So if I click blah blah.txt, I will see hello from command line, which is the value I was typing. So just be careful with echo. If you make a mistake naming different files, or mistyping, it will create a new file, and the value you want to save in particular file, it will never go there. So this is not good thing. Actually, this is somehow it might lead to big mistakes. From echo, let's see what we can do also. After that, there is something called cat command, and also just like echo, take the file name and it display the content of one or more files to the terminal. So now we learned how to create file, we learned how to put input inside this file, but now we're going to learn how to read from those files. So if I go back here to my terminal, now I know what is inside font.txt. It's called it has something called a master and CLI. So if I say cat, for me, what cat reads for me? What should I read? Read the file for me. And if I click, it will tell me what it has. It will tell me what it found there. So if I say now cat, what was the blah blah text for me, it will tell me what blah blah.txt have as value. And here we are. Cool. So now we know how to create file, how to add data or information to those files, but also how to retrieve this, to read this data, to display this data. That's better. Cool. Another thing we saw with echo, that's whenever we give a value and point it at any file, it just replaces the data. Sometimes you don't want to do so. Most of the times you just want to add data like logs or informations, text, messages, wherever. So echo help you doing so by increasing or doubling the greater than value. Don't replace the value in the file, add to it. Yeah, just add under it the new given input. So let's try it out. I will go to my command line. I will check what phone has before. It has a mastering CLI. Cool. So now I want to say echo and I'm learning web development, let's say. Development, and let's say double, this time double greater than, and let's name the file, sorry. Here we are, put or add, not put, add the and I'm learning web development into the phone file. And if I click it, go here and check out what happened. This is still, it remained as is, and we add to it. And of course the story will go on and on. No matter how much you add, it will always cover it. So let's read now what we have. Cat, and what we want to read, we want to read font. Now we see, oh, I'm mastering, but also I'm learning web development. Cool. So this is what we have so far. We learned how to create files, enter data to these files, read it, and also add more data if we want. The next command is going to be mv, which stands for move, and it take the direction, and it take whatever you want to move, take the name of the file and the direction, where is the destination you need to put it at. So it move a file into directory. Use mv with the source file as the first argument and the destination directory as the second argument. So you will say, in my case, I have a phone.txt, let's say. I want to move it into the car folder directory. So I will say mv, and I will say phone.txt, and then move it to car directory. Let's try this out. Here, I will move, since Node is empty and we didn't do something to it, I will move it into Khalid here. So Khalid is empty, has nothing. I will just move it into there. So I will say move. What do I want to move? I want to move the node.txt, and I want to have it in Khalid directory folder, the same. Okay, so let's click OK and see what happened. Do we have node here anymore? We don't. Let's check Khalid. How can I check Khalid? I can simply click here and see if the folder there. I don't want to use the file explorer anymore. This is for the normal average user. We want to use the terminal. The terminal in the future, now it might not make so much sense, because whatever we do in here, we can simply do it from file explorer. But in the future, using terminals will be way faster and so much more efficient to you as a programmer than using file explorers or Finder. So what can I do to check if I want to have to see if Khalid included already the file I moved to? First of all, I need to move there is many scenarios. One of them, you might move to Khalid file and then list the content of it. Or the second option is list from here what Khalid file has, folder has. I didn't tell you about list with argument, but I will show it to you in a second. So I will show you the both scenarios. First of all, I will say the first one to move to Khalid, and then list the content. So cd, how can I move to Khalid? I am already in empty folder, so I just name the file, the folder, and here we are. Now I just list it, and see, now after I list what is the content of the working directory, it tell me it has the node file. If I want to go back to empty folder as where I was before, I can just say what? Yeah, change directory and one step back, and here we are. I am in empty folder. Even though I am in empty folder, I still can list and see what content Khalid folder has. How? By simply saying list. But if I want to say list, it will list for me here at this moment. It will list for me all the content that empty folder has. I don't want to see the folders, the content of the empty folders. I want to see the content of Khalid folder. Then I need to say list what Khalid has. So list and the name of the directory I want to look at. In my case, yes, I am from empty folder. I am here, and I want to list everything inside this guy. So list and the name of the directory. If I click it, you will see it's showing me the content, which is the node.txt. Cool. Let's say I am in, let's move forward to Khalid folder again. If I am in Khalid folder, but I want to look at content of directory that's in empty directory, in the step back directory, what can I do? Simply also the same, ls, and name the directory of the folder I want to look at. But we agreed, whatever, if the directory was one step back, we don't name it. we just point at it with 2 dots, right? So if I say list 2 dots, what will happen? It will list what is back in the empty folder has. And in my case, it has all this. Let's move back to empty folder. Now I am in empty folder, and let's proceed from there. After the move folder, we have something called remove, and it will remove the file we are aiming at, or we are naming, sorry. So delete the file, delete files or directories. Yeah, but that's it. Delete files or directories. Cool. If I go back here, let's try it out. Now I finished with the blah blah. I don't want it anymore. I want to finish with it. So I can say remove, and remove, what do I want to remove? Remove blah blah. Okay. If I click enter, and I will see, oh, it's gone. That's so much good. Let's say, do we have user? We have nothing in user, so let's also remove user. I want to say remove, but I want to remove user directory folder. Let's click it and see. Cannot remove user, it's a directory. So this is directory, you need to have a command with it somehow, flags or yeah, commands with it. So I would say remove again, /r, and I will say user. And if I click OK, now I don't see any complaint or message. It's being moved. I'm telling her by force, like remove something. Let's use the same. I think we moved something to car. Yeah, car has also some data. So let's move car. I would say remove car. And now car, it's being moved. Cool. So if you have a folder, you need to use -r to move it. Just keep this in mind. Later on, we will check what is F also. There is a flag called F, force. Whenever you have content into this directories or folders, you need to use F, but we will have some scenarios where we can cover those in the future. With list also, there is more flags we can use, and check it out. -A list all content, including hidden files and directories. In our systems, in your computer, sometimes you have hidden files. This is a hidden file. This is a hidden file. As a normal user, you don't see this hidden file. I will show you the option how to see all the hidden files in the future. But for now, the ls-a, it will list all the content, including the hidden files and directories. So for now, if I say I am in empty folder, and if I say ls, you will notice I have all the folders, but not the hidden one. If I want to see everything, including the hidden one, I need to say ls-a, stands for all. Yeah. When I click it, you will see even the hidden ones are there. Now they are listed for me. Cool. So also there is another one, which is -l, which is list all the content in long format. Let's try this out. If I say ls, here we are, sorry, ls-l, and it will tell me what is permission do I have, like read, write. This is also maybe, hopefully, if we were talking about the servers and yeah, intermediate to advanced levels, we go into talk about those numbers. But it will tell you, or it will show you all the content in, not all the content, but the content in a long format. The last one, I think it's LST, and it will be, filtered by time. So the last will be shown first, LST, and it will show you exactly how, listed by time, which one was being modified last. For that is good. Let me just delete this guy here. what is next? We have some helper commands with the command line. Whenever we use it, it's so much handy to use it. Clear one of the commands to clear the terminal. Notice here, while I'm using my terminal now, it's get so much busy, and it's really somehow it's just not easy for your eye. If I want just to get rid of everything here, I just say clear, and now I deleted, yeah, I just wiped out all the commands. Of course, their functionality being done, so I don't need them anymore. The other one is tab. As I said, tab is to auto-complete the file names or the directories you are pointing at, so it's also so much handy to use them. And you can use the arrow to cycle through the previous commands. Like, let's say here, I forgot what kind of command I did to create, let's say, file. So I can, by clicking up arrow, I can navigate through all the commands. Even if I have a clear command and delete all of the commands, still it's memorize everything I did, and I can choose anything I want. So let's say I want to have touch and font text. We have font text. Let's say I want to have blah blah. If you remember, we said echo hello from command line, and inside blah blah txt. If you remember, echo, if it doesn't find the file, it will create one. So if I click it, you will see it's already there. Cool. By that, let's see what left. Important symbols. In the command line, there is a bunch of symbols you might use in the future. This was the most important one. Not only for the command line, but we're going to use them in our coding lessons in the future. And those are their names, because we will be talking about it a lot. And yeah, it's so much helpful for you to know what they are called. Double quotes, single quotes, semicolon, colon, smaller than, bigger than, curly braces, or opening and the closing curly braces. The same goes for square brackets and normal brackets or parentheses, $sign, and slash. There's other symbols, but yeah, we will be covering those in the future. So this was our first lesson for the web development path. I hope you enjoyed it, and please do the homework. The homework is the most important thing you do after watching and understanding the lesson. Please do not skip them. Thank you so much for listening. Until next lesson. Peace.